Hi, my name is Christopher, and I am going to have a quick conversation with you about the art of carbon balance through the application, the blockchain application called Tau, and how that is linked to the AI interface that allows any user, any person to have access to a tremendous amount of data through the carbon balance report. You access that data by scanning a QR code with your phone. Now, once you do that, it triggers the AI interface that you can then have a simple conversation with. So let us do that. We do the scan, and you arrive at an interactive platform that you can move. It responds to the movements and everything.
Your scan awakens a living connection. You've just linked to Pilatus Aircraft's Portuguese forest restoration, where 30 ancient cork oaks are drawing carbon from the sky and storing it in their rings. Each tree verified by Swiss science, watched by NASA satellites, and recorded on blockchain. This is your gateway to regenerative abundance. What calls to you most? The species bringing this forest alive, the science proving every gram of carbon, or the story of how Swiss aviation precision met Portuguese mountain wisdom?
Tell us a little bit about who is Pilatus? Who is this emitter? What do they do?
Pilatus, aircraft Swiss aviation leader crafting business aircraft since 1939, from their mountain home in Stans to global skies. What draws your curiosity? Their precision engineering heritage, or how aviation pioneers regenerative climate action?
So maybe we also want to know a little bit more about the carbon sink and who owns it and things like that. So let's figure that out. Can you tell me about who owns the carbon sink? Who is the converter? Who manages it?
Nativa Capital SCOIS SA owns Allegrity, the legal landowner with full rights to this 122.96 hectare Portuguese forest. Carlos Gomes serves as account manager, overseeing daily restoration work across these mountains. Want to understand how their forest stewardship connects to verified carbon storage?
So what you see here is that on the top screen, you see the summary of effectively the last bit of the conversation. And over here, we have different links that give us information and access to the full data set. So let's ask something about how this whole process works. Explain to us the carbon balance process.
Carbon balance reveals regenerative truth through simple mathematics. Divide your forest's sequestration capacity by emissions footprint. Pilatus achieved 382.65 ratio 110 tons forest drawdown against 7.84 tons emissions equals 14x abundance. Above 100 means carbon negative outcomes, what we call regenerative surplus rather than mere neutrality. How does your organization currently measure climate accountability?
So right here we can see that there's an icon that is available. So we can click on this, and that opens up the carbon balance certificates. Here you can see that there was a specific carbon footprint of 7.84 tons of carbon, which gives here on the left is the information on the carbon footprint, vis-a-vis 30 GAIAs, 30 tons of sequestered carbon, again summarized by 30 green GAIAs through this particular carbon sink, to have a ratio of 382%. We have the digital hologram here, and with this link here, you have access to the carbon balance report. Do you want to take a look? Let's do that. So by clicking on that, it opens up a PDF. And now here you have access to more information and more details. So let's just go down quickly. Here I have the summary, executive summary, which basically is a repetition here, but here you have a bit more info. You also have the person you can contact at Pilatus, email address, if you would like to have more information. And since this is a PDF, to ensure that this has not been manipulated and things altered, there's a QR code here that gives you access again to the certificate that we just saw. And from that certificate, you can now click on the digital original of this report, of which you can then check whether this is in line with what somebody may have sent you. So what is important and interesting is that we provide access to the specific carbon footprint data. So this is what Pilatus uploaded, and this is a sign of transparency that has been missing in many, many systems and methodologies. So here we can see how did Pilatus arrive at their so-called carbon footprint, and that this can be scrutinized to see and to value whether or not Pilatus is greenwashing, is underreporting, or whatever. Here you have access to the actual sequestration information. So in a summary, the converter sync name, the ID. Here you can see that for the year 2020, based on a satellite MODIS NPP number with a coefficient 573 GAIAs were, so to speak, the carbon harvest for the year 2020. Out of this, 30 GAIAs were used. These GAIAs that are used by or sold by, and the revenue given to Nativa Capital is used in a particular program of which these SDGs are affected. Now, if you want to know more information about this data, you can actually click here, and that allows you, this is what we call the independent science verification. This now allows you to go directly to an independent platform called Restore. So here you have information about the polygon, where it is. You can zoom in and you know, scroll around, take a look, etc. And at the same time, you have an overview, you have scientific data. The scientific data comes in different categories: biodiversity, carbon, water, risks, land cover, etc. Let's look at carbon. Carbon gives you the above ground status of the woody carbon, below ground woody carbon, and the organic soil content. We also monitor the biomass above ground, and the NPP, net primary productivity, is the value that measures the actual sequestration, which is measured within this particular area. Should you want to know how this works, there's an I button here that gives you some information about how this works, the assumptions. And should you want to know even more information, we'll take you directly to NASA. So you have the Earth Data Program, and here you can see information on the MODIS Terra program. And you can go down and you can get even more information all the way down to actual specific algorithms. So what this is that through a simple question and one click, you have access to this huge array of information. And this is quite remarkable. Let me just give another question here quickly. Can you explain the 5-layer verification system that we're using? Not quite sure whether it's my internet access, but it's taken a bit of time. So let's hear.
5 layers protect truth, like tree rings protect centuries of growth. ETH. Zurich measures carbon through Swiss science, Crowther Lab validates ecosystem health. Reister offers live satellite monitoring you can access now. NASA tracks changes from space. Hedera blockchain locks all data permanently. Want to explore how each layer builds unshakable proof?
So basically, here again is the summary of what she just said, and over here again are the links. So this one here takes you direct to Restore. This is the blockchain verification, and at some point you can share this on your social media network. I'm going to ask a quick question. I'm going to change my persona because the system recognizes the type of persona that you are. We have something that we call EI, emotional intelligence. Without much ado, let me just show that to you. I am 5 years old, and I'm scared of trees, and I do not understand what you're talking about.
Trees are friends, not scary. The trees in Portugal are like gentle giants with soft bark you can touch. Would you like to hear about the birds and animals that live in the forest?
Oh yes, tell me more about that.
Cork oaks create living carbon vaults through centuries of patient growth, their thick bark harvested sustainably every 9 years, while roots drink deep from Portuguese mountain springs, storing carbon across wood, roots, and soil. What draws you most? Their remarkable 200-year lifespan, the traditional harvest wisdom, or how they become entire ecosystems supporting wildlife?
I'm also going to change my persona now to somebody more scientific. I'd like to know a little bit more about the scientific explanation on how this sequestration actually works. So let me ask. I'm a biologist, and I would like to know exactly, how does this sequestration function? How does it work scientifically? Please give me a detailed response.
Cork oaks sequester carbon through multiple pools, above ground biomass in trunk and canopy, below ground in extensive taproot systems, soil organic carbon from decomposing matter and root exudates, plus harvested cork, creating long-term storage. ETH-ZRIC measured this using Modis Terra satellite data, tracking net primary productivity increases from 818.81 2020 to 1047 2021, showing active photosynthetic carbon capture. What specific mechanism interests you most, the mycorrhizal associations enhancing soil carbon, or the evergreen physiology enabling year-round sequestration?
And so what this does is it allows a very interesting interactive communication, which is an enhancement, and it can also create an emotional reaction, emotional good feel for the person that has scanned and is interacting, leading them to then share this on their social network. Net result, we have a system that transparently explains in an easy way the scientific data that has full data integrity because it's on the blockchain, and allows your clients to effectively become part of your marketing team and greatly enhancing the brand impact of your organization. So thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to speaking more about this, and let's see what we can do. Thank you. All the best.